Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with myself, Paul and Jenny from Host for Ghosts, and Angela from South Coast Ghosts. We were supposed to have Bucks Paranormal come on tonight, but unfortunately something's happened, so they can't get on here tonight. But we will have them on in the near future. So Angela's bashed ahead and come up with an idea, which is a good one, and it's about horror films and films that have an effect on you, as in when you go to a paranormal evening, do you take them ideas into the paranormal with you? You know, if you're watching, please comment, about going to horror films, and do you go into an investigation thinking these things are going to happen? What else was it, Angela? You say it better than I will.
Does it have an effect on you?
The impact it will have on you, and also the actors in these films, how it might affect them, because I know that sometimes they have to have counselling and all that kind of stuff from playing such a sort of horrible kind of role, really.
Hi, Alan. So if you have a comment on the subject we're talking about tonight, which Angela's, well done to Angela for getting the subject, because obviously we didn't have a backup for Bucks Paranormal, but they'll be on later on, and we have a few more people wanting to come on, so we'll get them on there. So if you have any comments on what Angela said earlier, so please send them in. Angela will put them on the screen. So what we're talking about is obviously horror movies and the actors. And if you go into a paranormal investigation after seeing a horror movie, would you think about, is this the same situation? Does it affect in your head that you carry that into the next investigation, or you're not bothered? You say, that's just a film. But surely in your subconscious mind, you'll have this film playing where there would be chairs, murders, gruesome pictures, whatever may go on. So send your comments in and come and talk to us. And if you want to come on the Monday Night Live, by all means, message us, come on, have a chat, talk to your team, bring your team on, whatever you'd like to do. And whatever subject you'd like us to talk about, please send it in. And Angela will put it on the screen, or we'll be in contact, or contact us in South Coast Ghosts, or Paul for Host for Ghosts. And then we can get you on here so you can come on and chat to us. So the film, I think, had an effect, really, is when we went to see the new Conjuring film, The Last Rites, I think it was called. And that was more to do with like the mental side of it. Okay, it was a good film, lots go on and lots of things happened, but you know Ed and Lorraine Warren were real people and dealing with real demonic cases. So we watched it and it did make us jump, but it's the psychological bit of it that gets you, because you're looking at it and think, what would I do in that situation? Would I run? Would I do so? What would I do? And then you sort of think to yourself, if I was in an investigation and that happened, how would I react to that situation? What would I do? Would I run? Would I try and battle it out, or whatever? And when we came out, we both watched it, obviously myself and Jen, and it's a really, really good film, but it does make you think that we're going into a paranormal investigation, and obviously some new venues, we don't actually know what we're walking into. And it could be a scene from The Conjuring. It could be a scene from the horror movie.
What about Hellfire Caves?
Hellfire Caves, again, that's a place that's a great place, but what's happened there. And coming out there, a lot of people say, yeah, it was a good night, enjoyed it. A lot of people say I've come out and really affected me, because what had gone on there, murders and the rituals and the big boys club and all of that, secret club. And I think there was an incident of a married woman there, wasn't there? It was murdered there, if I remember rightly. And sometimes they see her looking out the bars. I think she was married in London to one of the people at the Hellfire Club, and they took her there and was sacrificed there. And then I've seen pictures where she's looking through the railings, looking out. So, how does that sort of situation affect you? If you go in, you've been to Hellfire Caves, haven't you, Angela? Yeah.
I have, yeah.
What did you think of it?
I don't remember a great deal of it. I remember like they had the big sort of circular room that was just like made of stone, and it was quite cold. And I remember near the end of the evening, we were all quiet, and then we could hear these little sort of sounds like something dripping. Then after a while, our eyes were adjusted, it's like, oh yeah, there's all drips coming down. And then it's like, it's not so scary now because we know what it is.
Because in there, yeah.
But yeah, there was.
But what did you actually feel?
And there was another bit I can't remember now. I don't think I felt, because I didn't really know any history about it, so I didn't sort of have any way of like expecting how I might feel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a scary enough name, but yeah, I don't think I was particularly scared by it, but yeah, it was a while ago now, so I can't quite remember it.
Yeah, it probably was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what would be your the Blair Witch always plays on my mind when I'm investigating in a woodland. That's from Alan. Do you know what? That's probably one of the only films that I've ever had nightmares from.
Is it?
The Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
Yeah. That actually, because it's so lifelike and you're actually that person running through the woods. Have you ever seen it, Jen?
No.
You need to watch it because
Well, I think
you're
I
actually,
might have, but fell asleep.
but you're actually like in it in the movie because you're running along with them. Do you understand what I mean? You don't see them. You're actually seeing their point of view from it and how they're being chased and all these things happening. So you see it from their point of view through their eyes. And I think that's the only film I ever had nightmares about, because I could just imagine the hell and the anguish and the fright you would have running through the woods and not knowing whether you're running the right way, the wrong way, or a way to get out. But it is a film, like Alan's saying, it is a film that really does remind him, because you, as I say, you're looking through their eyes, that you're actually living what they're going through. And it really does affect you. It did me. You know, it's quite a scary movie. But what movies have you seen? It messes with your psychology. Yeah, it does. It literally messes with your head. It's so hard to comprehend. You actually feel frightened and scared and angry and it all makes you all sorts of things because you're actually living.
Scream when we're watching something on the TV. I'm screaming.
Jen often screams. I agree about Blair Witch. I was disturbed by it for quite a while, and I was. But if you've not seen it, it's a film to watch, but don't watch it on your own, because it's one of them films that psychologically messes with your mind, because you see it through their eyes. You're actually living it, and it is it's quite scary, and you do stress and sweat, and your heart rate races because you're feeling what they're feeling. It's such a great film because you're actually part of that film. You're not an actor, and the actors doing it, I don't know how they do it, and they walk off the set and that's a wrap or whatever, and they walk off and you think, do they walk away from it or does it go with them? It'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it? Like you saying, Angela, how does it affect the actors? It'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it? Can you walk off the set and forget it?
I imagine like some people watch a comedy or something straight afterwards to sort of get them back to normal.
Yeah. And they walk off a set, and do they actually walk off or does it go with them? It'd be interesting to try and find the answer, whether the actors take that film home with them or they can just, right, that's the end of that film, I'm on to the next one. Or whether they actually drive home thinking, what happens if that's following me home? What happens if, how many times have people played in these horror movies and then just imagine things following them home from the movie?
Yeah. Maybe if it's on location, then it's a bit more real. But if it's like in a studio, I imagine they can see all the lights and other equipment. And it's like, then they know they're sort of this is just like pretend, but if they're actually in that environment, like if they're actually filming in woods or something, I know you've still got all the equipment and that, but you just think if that camera just goes and the lights go off, then you're really there, and then it must be quite scary.
Yeah.
Imagine.
And it's like what, the actors that do these horror films and these paranormal films, do they actually experience stuff themselves when they're actually doing it? Do they get a paranormal experience when they're actually filming? Does something say, something's just touched me, but it's not a part of the film. It's, do they experience paranormal stuff? It's a bit like that film, The Poltergeist, isn't it? Where that little girl sits there and looks at the screen with the white dots, and she says they're here.
Oh yeah.
I can't forget what they call it. The white dots. I can't remember what they call it. Like white noise. And she sits there, doesn't she? Looks at the television screen and says, they're here. And I've tried that experiment before, having white noise on a TV many years ago. And there's some strange things that on there.
Yeah,
it's white noise on a dead channel. Have you? And did you experience anything?
Yeah. Yeah, after a while, it's like different shapes, and it was like I was sort of watching a movie, but it was all in the white noise. I was like, I could see things happening, like things moving across the screen and that, and then I was like, no. But I didn't have the noise with it, so I couldn't sort of get any sound. But
I got voices like a conversation, but white noise is like a TV dead channel. And I sat there, it was part of my parapsychology thing, where they were saying white noise, there's lots of information within white noise that we don't hear. So like your homework tonight would be to sit on this channel, and they gave you a specific channel to sit there and just look into the screen. And like you say, you do see things in the screen, don't you? But then I was hearing a conversation like beyond the screen. And I thought, what on earth is this? Because if it's a dead channel, what is it actually picking up?
yeah.
And some people say you can communicate with spirit through that, through the white noise. So, so you're brave enough to try it. It's quite an experiment, really. Whether
I couldn't work out like a proper dead channel on mine. Like, the Sky TV, and it's a smart TV, and I couldn't find just like a dead channel. I had to like specifically look for a white noise channel, but then it didn't have the sound with it.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know how.
Yeah, because on the old-fashioned TVs, it was easier, wasn't it?
Yeah, you just turned it on, and there it was.
Yeah, there it is in front of you. So, going back to these films, like I say, where the actors take on, do they feel stuff, paranormal stuff that they don't mention? I often wonder if they're in a horror movie, how, like you say, how affected they are when they walk off the set. Does it affect their mind? Films like, I don't know, what's that one called with all the clowns in it? Not It. There's another one.
Do you mean
incorporates a really famous hotel with clowns in it?
Do you mean something Friday?
Not Nightmare on Elm Street. No,
no,
I can't remember.
No, is it something Friday?
I don't know. It'll come to me in a minute. But there's
How did they?
No, that was you rebounding.
Oh,
Friday the 13th.
yeah, could be.
Them type of horror films.
Oh, okay.
And I know we look at them and film, but the Conjuring film was really good because it really took you into their perspective, and you think, well, I know there's been 3 films from the beginning of it, isn't there? I think right from the beginning.
I think
but
so.
They were actually real people, weren't they? Doing real investigations into real demonic type cases. Some people say it's all made up, but it's all based on their accounts and their diaries and stuff like that written down, isn't it? But I'd say, like I said earlier, the Blair Witch one was the one that really sort of gave me nightmares. It was I could just see myself in my dream running through the trees with something after me, and I couldn't get rid of that image for a long time. You know, like the two that have commented on here. It's a very difficult thing to get rid of when it's in your brain, and you know, and I often sort of go to a paranormal night and wonder whether you'd experience anything like that. And again, like I say, what would you do? You know, would you stay your ground? Would you go? Would you think, well, no, this is affecting me? Because obviously some investigations are more active than others, more happen to you. You know, and I often, after investigation, I'm either riding home or driving home thinking about, you know, not so much analysing, but thinking about what's gone on, what I've seen, what I've heard, you know, what would it have done? What, you know, and it's all these type of things that run through your mind. When you go in there, you never think about, oh, this could turn nasty. You go in there, yeah, everybody, and in you go, and you open that door, you walk into that venue, not knowing what's gone on, what's happened in there, what's been summoned, what's not been summoned, and all of that stuff. And we go merrily walking in there, but we could be walking into a major crisis or major problem. I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are, Angela, on that. You know, sometimes we've been to Waverley, and that's had a really weird feeling about, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the only time I think I'd get affected, like from watching a film, is if it was like shortly after and I went to the same type of place. Like if I'd gone investigating in the woods after watching the Blair Witch Project, then it would definitely be sort of on my mind. Yeah. And I think it would affect me then. Or if I'd watched something about maybe a haunted house and then I investigated a house that was similar, then I'd probably be thinking back to that and thinking, oh, watch out for that picture because that might happen there, and don't look in that mirror because when I don't watch that, something happened in the mirror. So it probably affect me in that way.
It's the one that springs to mind for me is Winry Manor.
Yeah.
When you go there, because I'm sure that's been in a film, and the things that happen in the film and you relate to Winry Manor always reminds me of a really scary house. But when you go inside, it's not, is it? It's active, but I think the basement's quite scary down underneath, because there's that basement, isn't there? That's quite creepy there. You know, a few times I've been in there, a few times I've seen things or heard things that I'm not so sure about, you know. But the house is very warm and welcoming, but I'll always get a feeling that the house is on the edge of like exploding with activity, you know, and you're not ready for it.
Oh, okay.
You know, it always gives me that feeling. You know, you think, oh, what a lovely, it's a really nice house, and you know, it's great to be here. But I'm always on edge there at Wimbledon, and I don't know why. And it's like something's going to explode. You know, something's really going to kick off there, and it's like, you know, we've been to a couple of places when we've gone there, and things have been different from the last time we were there. So we don't know whether people are conjuring up different things there because of what it is and where it is, you know. And we all been there, like us as a team with Darren and Jen, and we've all gone there and said, oh, this doesn't feel right, you know. And we don't know what we're walking into, do we? As we walk in there, go, yeah, hello everybody, how are we? Blah blah blah, and then you think, something's different. So you could be walking through that veil, you know, and end up, if there's summoning whatever, you don't know whether they've got rid of it, whether it actually worked, or and it's often, you know, with Ouija boards, isn't it? You know, people play with them, don't know how to use them or shut them down, and then the problems start, don't they? You know, because you've left that communication, and it's like a film, isn't it? Horror film, and even after you've watched it, you're always thinking about it. Blimey, what would you have done there? would you run? What if you couldn't get out? You were chained to the wall, and all psychologically. And then next time you go into a haunted location, you're thinking, "Oh, what happens if I get trapped here?" And I had a very similar situation when I was with another group. We were asked to go and investigate an asylum. Hi, Dora. We were asked to go to investigate an asylum, which was the other side of Guildford, Wolpeston area, that sort of further in there, because they were renovating it, but a lot of the workmen worked late into the evenings, and a lot of their tools would go missing, and they'd see things running down corridors, and so they would run out. So we were asked to go in there, and I was with Surrey Paranormal then. So, we went in there, and as you walked in, it was like a round room with all the corridors all the way off of it, all the way down, like a star shape, basically. So you had a reception.
Okay.
So we used the reception as a base room. So, the first rule we say, don't wander off on your own. Make sure everybody's together and you know where each other are and blah, 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 blah. And I was bringing the equipment in because we were going to set up some cameras in the main reception area. And to my right was like a wing. I want to call it a wing. But all the doors were open, like somebody got along and opened all the doors. And as I was standing there bringing in, the others were sort of halfway down a corridor setting up some bits. And I thought I heard a voice and a door move. And I looked down, and one of the doors was at a different angle to the rest of them. I thought, maybe I did hear something. Okay. I thought, like you do, hello, hello. Didn't really want to go down there. But I thought, okay, I'll go down. And the others were sort of halfway down the other way. So I was meant to drop stuff and then join them. So I decided to go down the corridor on my own to have a look, see what's going on. In case someone's in there, a worker or someone's, So I went down there, and sure enough, the door was at a different angle to the rest. All the others were wide open. This one was 3/4 shut. And I'm thinking, well, why is that door different to all the others? And is that the door I saw moving? I thought, looked back down, I could see the reception. So I thought, okay. So I opened the door, looked up. There's a little window in there, but it wasn't broken. So I'm thinking, if the window's broken, maybe it's the air pressure moving the door backwards and forwards, and that's why it's different to the other doors. Yeah. But I sort of shone my light, and the window was intact. The whole room was intact. Just had a bare bed, and just off the main room was like a ensuite bathroom. So I wandered in there, and I'm wandering around. Hello, anybody here? Like you do, thinking, oh, this is very creepy, because the asylums are full of negativity anyway, really, aren't they? And I walked into the bathroom just sort of off the main room and heard the door bang. I thought, the door's shut. Oh. So I've come out the room thinking, okay. And then I sort of felt something in the room. I thought, this room's changed since I've got in here. So I tried to open the door and I couldn't get the door open. Now I sort of pulled my mobile phone out and I couldn't get a signal. So now I can't call for anybody to come and get me. So I'm standing there thinking, I've done the wrong thing here. I know I have. I've come in here on my own, completely broken every rule for going into an investigation. And then I felt sort of by the bed. I felt the bed had moved like a scraping noise. But when I looked, I couldn't really see the bed had changed position. It looked like it was still in the same position. And then I felt starting to get that bit of fear in me, thinking, I'm in this room, but what can I get out? And then I felt something like a breeze past me, in front of me, and I'm thinking, something's in the room. Something's in here with me. And I kept feeling it, like the breeze as someone walks past you, and I'm thinking, I'm in trouble here, and I've got to get out of this. And of course, I'm trying the room, trying the door, I couldn't get out. They can't hear me because I'm saying, oh, can someone open the door? Like laughing. I'm thinking, I'm in trouble here because they can't hear me, I can't get out. And then whatever it was getting quicker, walking past me like it was getting agitated because I was in there. So I'm standing there thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? How do I get out of this? So I sort of stood there and went, the more fear you show, the more strength they gain from your fear. But it's very hard as a human not to show fear because it's that fight or flight mode. So you're producing massive amounts of energy. So I'm like, come on then, do your best. I would be out to get with the door. I tried to get out the door, but it was locked. It wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't say it was locked, but it wouldn't open, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, right, I'm going to have to confront this and I'm going, right, come on then, do what you got to do, push, shove, bang, shove me over, whatever you got to do, because I'm not scared of you. You really need to show yourself, because you can see me, to show yourself in the room. And I was getting more of sort of angry with it. I'm thinking, if I'm more angry I get, the more it might work. I was going, come on, do your best, scratch me, push me, do whatever you need to do. And I heard the door open. So I grabbed hold of the door and run out down the corridor. And when I got back to the main reception, I was like, they said, you all right? You're puffing a bit. I said, oh, yeah. I just had a little walk down there and just sort of had a quick look around just to make sure we could put cameras down there. I didn't dare tell them what had happened. But that really did affect me, because you say don't go on your own, but you get inquisitive, don't you? You know, Andrew, you wander off on your own, looking around, and you go in rooms, don't you? But how would you feel if you went in a room and then couldn't be able to get out? How would you feel?
Oh, I'd completely panic, I think. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know if I'd actually be able to calm myself enough to even think of what to do. I think I'd probably just sit rocking in the corner, praying for somebody to come open the door.
But it was very difficult to stay calm. Well, I would say I wasn't fully calm, because I was obviously panicking inside, thinking I'm in trouble here.
Yeah.
They can't hear me. I can't get out. What do I do? And I thought, okay, the more fear you show, the more strength they get. But so what I've got to do is really try and calm myself and just say, come on then. I was going, do what you got to do. Scratch, push me, move the bed, bang the door, do whatever you want to do, because I'm not afraid of you. Come on, I'm going. And then I heard the door open, and I sort of yanked the door open, because obviously the door was behind me, so I had my hand on the handle, and it sort of nudged me as it opened, and I was gone. I was out the corridor and gone. And so when they wandered back, I was like on the reception desk thinking, oh my God, what have I just done? And that was and that did affect me for a long period of time after on other investigations where I wouldn't go off on my own. But normally I'm quite fearless. I'll go off and have a look around and, go down here and push this, go in this dark room. For a short period after that, I was a bit apprehensive. I said, oh yeah, let's go as a team, They'd say, no, you normally go off on your own. I said, no, let's go as a team in case we can experience something all together. Not telling them that I had the fear frightened out of me being in a room. But that was a really sort of sobering incident for me on how things can change very quickly in a situation. And that was innocent, just walking down to look at a door that was in a different position. I don't think he wanted me there.
Yeah.
It was just I happened to walk into it. No. And it was, it was that darkness beyond dark. And then I felt something. It was terrifying. I was scared. I won't, I'm not scared to admit it. I was frightened because I knew I'd made a huge mistake. I don't think whether it could have harmed me. I don't know. Maybe scratched, maybe something, give me a shove or move the bed. I don't know. Whatever it was quite agitated because the breeze was getting faster and faster coming past me like it was running around me, that type of feeling. So I decided to sort of back up to the door, but not stand on the door in case the door swung open. So I could reach the handle as I was with my hands behind my back. And then that's when I heard the door unlock like a clunk. And I sort of quickly put my hand in the door and pulled it quite open and then made the run for it. Doors, but I should imagine it teach you a lesson and probably took a long time to get over it. It must have been scary. It was scary because I realised what I'd done. Everything I tell everybody, don't go on your own, stay as a group, go in as a team, come out of a team. I did the carnal, the wrong thing. And whether I was drawn to it by it, that's what drew me down the corridor, or I was just being, I don't know, bloody minded and thought, yeah, I'll go and have a look. What could possibly be here? Bearing in mind that we've been called in there to do that, And Graham's put, I love being on my own to investigate. I wonder if spirits prefer to speak or just one person and not a lot of people trying to get their attention in different parts of the building. Must be very difficult. Oh, to be so popular. Well, you know, stardom. That happens to us all. But, you know, I should have realised we were there for a reason. And it just didn't dawn on me. It's like paranormal investigation, isn't it? You know, you see a horror movie and then you sort of go on a paranormal investigation, but you're thinking, oh, this is going to be good spirits that will tap this and do that and show you. But you don't realise the other side of it, what could be the other side of it. We assume it's good spirits and happy spirits and tap for once for yes, twice for no, and yeah, can you do this? Can you do that? But when you walk down, you know, if you go to some of the tunnels in these vaults, you don't know what's happened down that tunnel, whether that's negative. You're just walking straight into it. And it could be, couldn't it? And it's when you get that situation where it goes dark and then it goes beyond dark. And you really start to think something's here. You know, and you always assume it's a good spirit. You know, show yourself. Can you show yourself to us? You don't know what's going to appear in the darkness, do you?
No.
And it could be a bit of a horror movie, couldn't it? It's something really...
It could be.
You know, something come out of the dark that's not very nice. And you're in the end of a tunnel, ain't nowhere else to run.
No, and if you feel something tap you on the shoulder, I mean, usually you turn around, you can't see it anyway, but then you know you can't see anything anyway, so you don't know if it is a spirit or if there is actually somebody in there with you.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah. It's that dark. And then that would be more scary, I think.
You assume that the tunnel's empty. You don't know whether someone's stayed behind or somebody a bit odd is in there. You don't know. And then suddenly you feel that what feels like a real touch on your shoulder or that whisper in your ear. You know, you assume it's a good spirit. We do assume, don't we? Oh, thank you, spirit, for talking or touching me. Can you do that again? We don't actually know what we're interacting with, do we? You know, some people go looking for demonic stuff. You know, I don't, because I don't know how to work with it or deal with it, because I'm not trained to work with that type of... And that would be my worst nightmare. You know, you hear of... it's like if you were asked to do a case and someone's possessed. You know, I wouldn't even get involved. I wouldn't bother, because I'm not trained in that.
No.
I don't know whether you call it dark arts or whether you would... I don't know what you'd call it. But if you're not trained, you know, when you go to the dark side, shall we say, you know, that's a whole different level of scariness, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I'm not interested in going down that route.
No. And I have people say, oh, you know, have you seen anybody that's possessed? And I haven't. And I don't think I really want to, because I don't, you know, some people say, oh, yeah, it's good to train, you know, demonologists and all of that type of thing. But I think sometimes if you don't go looking for it, you won't find it. You know, we're only looking for good spirits that are good and peaceful and want to interact. If you go looking for the dark side, then you really don't know what you're going to be opening up. Again, you can't see what you're dealing with. You know, that's not my cup of tea. I mean, some people specialise in it, you know, and good luck to them. Yeah, but it's not what I go looking for, because I know I can't do anything about it if it did happen, because I'm not trained to do it. I think I'd be more scared doing the training, thinking, you know, I could be called up to be summoned up to face something like this, and I don't think I would do it. You know, and that would be like in a movie. When you see all these films and they're being dragged out of their bed and hung up in the air, and, you know, all sorts of ectoplasms coming out of them and all of that type of thing, I think, you know, I'd be running. That was me. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
Standing there and reading out the Bible, I'd be off. Because there's something that I don't know about, you know, and you can't say you could do a course online and do this and do that and become, you know, an exorcist, because that must take years and years and years, mustn't it, to become someone like that.
Yeah, and it's something you'd have to experience. You can't just read about it and then go off, because being actually in that situation is going to be a whole lot different to what you can read in a textbook or something. And you don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that could happen.
And you do read about them, don't you? These things that people do get obsessed, or, you know, all of that, and the situations that you end up in. And, you know, I think if you don't go looking for that, then that won't come and find you. If you're only looking for good spirits like we do, you know, spirits that want to interact, we don't force them. You know, they only want to act with you if they want to. And you can quite understand that. So I think if you go with good intentions into an investigation, you get good intentions back. You know, someone is there saying, come on, you know, do your worst to me, do what you got. You know, I think you're looking for trouble. You know, and that person I tend to avoid. You want to take it on, you crack on, son. You get on with it. But, Graham, but do you only find demons if you go looking for them? I've never witnessed any so far as I know. And that's exactly it. That's what I'm saying, Graham. You know, if you go with good intentions, then I think you only have good spirits. If you go looking for the dark side, I don't think the dark side's very far away, you know, through that veil. But if you don't go looking for that, then I don't think you experience that. But if you do go looking for it, then, you know, you've really got to be at the top of your game, I think. But like I say, if you go with good intentions, spirit know that you're there not to harm them. And you've gone there with all the good intention. They must be able to see your energy or feel your energy, that you're a good person and that you're safe to interact with. You know, do they see a negative person that's depressed or has a darkness around them that they stay away from? You know, some investigations you go on and you think, last time we got all of this time we've got nothing. But is that because someone there is a little bit dark? And the spirit said, well, I'm not coming into that because they're not got good energy, but they have. But well, I don't know. You know, whether they see a darkness around us or they see us as an energy. We don't know, do we? Ask the question, you know, can you see us? And they often say, don't they, no. But what do they see? That's what makes me wonder sometimes. I think Angela's dropped off by there. The screen's gone off. But
well, can you still hear me?
Yeah, the screen's gone off, but we can still hear you,
Yeah, it just says your browser's lost connection to your camera. Well, that's great, isn't it? What am I supposed to do about that? I don't know. Oh, well, I'm still here.
So maybe sign off and come back on or reboot the browser or so. I don't know. I think it's one of them. We get a bit of sunshine and all the internet's gone Pete Tong, isn't it? Really? Oh, you're back again.
Yeah. Oh, there I am.
Keep moving around the room. You sure? You're over there and you're over here. Yeah. But going back to the films, you know, some of them you watch horror films, you think, oh, right, really? You know, and some of them my honest opinion is that I think about them probably too long. You know, instead of just letting it, thinking it's a film, I'm trying to analyse the film, thinking, what would I do in that situation? You know, would I run? Would I fight? Would I? And then you go into a dark room in a haunted house, asylum, hospital, wherever you are, and suddenly, sometimes I've been in a room and thought, you know, this is really not where I want to be. And it sort of on your subconscious mind, you're drawing that film up because that person went in there and that person went into that room, you know, and this happened to them. Do I really want to go in there? As I say, you don't know what's happened in that house, in that room. You're just assuming it's a good house and it's all good intentions. But I don't know. It's a bit of a scary situation.
When I watch a film that's sort of really scary or there's something in it that's making me, like inside, I start to feel all panicky or like really upset about something, especially if like it involves children and something's happening. It's like, I really don't like this. And I have to actually say to myself, it's a film, they're just pretending this didn't really happen. And then I'm all right after that. I was like, yes, I'm just watching something that's not real. But you can still get that feeling of, but what if that actually happened? But the more I talk to myself and say, it's just a film, it's just a film, I seem to get through it a bit better.
Yeah. It's like when you watch these horror movies and they hear a noise outside. Why do they always go outside? Because if I heard a noise outside, I'd be staying in the house. But they get their torch and they open the door and they gingerly walk out after hearing a howling or something happening in the garden. And they think, right, let's go out and have a look. So you get the same scenario where they walk out and there's fog. So or mist. Yeah. There's always that situation in it. So you can't really see a great deal. So the real human person would not go, never in the daytime. Always at night, you can't blooming see anything. And they open the door, so the door creaks. So that's always a good start to a haunted movie with a creaking door. And then you're thinking, why are you going outside? Why are you going to look for what that noise is? There's a knock on the door. Why would you go and open the door? Why would you But you're sort of living it. Yeah, you're living it with them, aren't you? You go, no, don't go. Why are you opening the door? Someone's knocking the door, but there's nobody there. So you're telling me you're going to go outside and look around there. Hello, is there anybody out here? No. No. That door's locked. They can't get in. I'm happy with that. They get in, then I'm in trouble. But if I open the door and they come in, then that's down to me. But you always panic, don't you? Like you say, your heart starts to speed up. You think, no, don't open the window. Why are you going to the window? You know, why are you going outside in the mist and the fog? You can't see anything. So why are you going out there with a torch? And you sort of, after you think, your heart rate's flying along and thinking, well, I wouldn't have done that. But sometimes you wonder why. And it's only a film. Like you say, you have to sit back and go, it's a film. It's not real. You're not living it. It's a film. And it's always that situation. And it's always, isn't it? In the dark, there's a knock on the door, there's a howl, a bang, or a scream outside. You think, don't go out there.
Yeah.
Don't go out. Oh my God, they've gone to the front door. They're going to open that door. And just put some hot water in your ears. Then you can't hear what's coming.
Yeah.
But I often wonder, I know it's a film, but you think, no, don't do that. In real life, you wouldn't. I'm sure you wouldn't. Dora says it's like you hearing a knock on an investigation and you follow the noise. Yeah, because on an investigation, you're expecting something like that to happen. You're looking, you're asking, aren't you? Can you knock? Can you do this? Can you move something? Sorry?
You're prepared and you're with people. You're not just on your own and not expecting anything.
Yeah, and it's always, a lot of these films, there's a teenage girl in a bedroom listening to her music with her headphones on, and then something happens and they're not very well dressed, so they go downstairs, so they open the door, and you're thinking, why would you do this? You know, would a real person do that? I think not. But like you say, an investigation, you're ready for it, aren't you? You're looking for it, and you will follow it along if you have to. You know, I don't know if I heard a bang or a shout down the end of a tunnel, would I walk towards it in the dark? I don't know. I'd probably be more inquisitive and shining a torch down there.
Yeah, if I had a torch, it wouldn't be so bad. And other people, but not on my own.
Yeah. But then you can imagine, can't you? If you're with a group of 5, 6, 7 of you, and suddenly an apparition appears at the end of the tunnel, there's going to be mass chaos to run. And you'll always end up being the last person running behind everybody else, which is totally not fair. And that's what I say to people. If I run past you, then follow me, because it's going to get you before it gets me. You know, I could probably run
Yeah.
faster than most people, so I try not to be on the end. But it is scary. These movies do draw you in. You know, they set you up in the beginning with this lovely, happy family house and all these wonderful things going on. Then gradually it gets darker and darker and dark. And it's like that 30 East Drive, isn't it? You know, that's supposed to be horrifically haunted. I think it's 20 DeGea Street as well, isn't it? Another haunted house. But what's actually happened there to cause this sort of trauma where they can get scratched in the house? And, you know, people say, oh, yeah, I've been in there, nothing happens. Other people been in there, there's scratches and things flying across the rooms. And I don't know. I don't know whether I'd want to go investigating somewhere like that that's quite notorious for that type of activity. Or is that why you're an investigator? That's what you're looking for. Shall we say?
Yeah, I guess there's those that want all that sort of physical evidence where they can see things flying around and actually feel things, but then others just want to like hear things and like I guess connect with the spirits rather than be harmed by them. They just want to know who's there.
And it's like you go to, like down where you're always, the Rifles Museum and all the museums down the Hovercraft Museum. I think there's another one, well, I think it might have been Dora saw what she said was a soldier, or someone on the group saw it. You know, does that scare you when you see something like that? Are you inquisitive, or you think, whoa, what was that? Or is it you think, well, I've seen it, you know, that's what I came here for. And sometimes you get an EVP, don't you? It's so good. You think, you know what, I can go home now because that's the evidence I need, you know, but you don't. Obviously, you stay to the bitter end. But, you know, I think we're all looking for that apparition that's very rare for people to see. We're all looking for that undeniable evidence that nobody can debunk. That's what we're looking for, isn't it? And we grit it out, cold, rain, wind, snow, ice, and we're still there, still trying to find it. And we're probably still trying to find it when we actually pass away. Because if we ever get the answer, you know, we try, don't we? But I think we do it for the passion of what we do, and we love it. You know, people say, oh, you know, and you get people ask you, oh, are you not scared? You're only scared because of what you watched on the TV, the screaming, the shouting, the running, you know, what you see them do in some of these TV programs. You know, they're there 3 or 4 days or 3 or 4 weeks trying to get 40 minutes of evidence. So it will look quite exciting in 40 minutes, won't it, of 3 weeks evidence.
Yeah.
Where we can go, you know, we can have a great night or we can have nothing.
Yep.
You know, it's not supply and demand. You demand it, they do what they want to do when they want to do it. You know, and they know what you're thinking anyway. Because when you try and do a human pendulum or something like that, they've already answered the question. Because they've, you know, whether they obviously read your mind or something. Because how many times have you seen someone going backwards and forwards for yes and no, and nobody's asked a question? Did somebody have a question in their head, and spirit already know? You know, they're that clever. Quite how they do it, whether it's telepathy or I don't actually know how they know the answer to the question when it's in your head. Because you know someone in that circle is desperate to ask the question but doesn't really want to embarrass themselves, isn't it? You know, we've all been there, haven't we? You don't want to really say, you know, is anybody there? You know, you say, has anybody got a question? And the person in the middle is going, yeah. So you think, well, someone's got a question. You know, and spirit
like,
good
well, the
enough
answer's yes. What's the question?
Yeah. So whatever you're thinking, the answer's yes. It's quite an interesting subject, really, with horror films and Graham Burnley's book. When I heard 3 loudest knocks I'd ever witnessed while walking down the tunnel at Widley, I swore a bit and made me jump, but just carried on with my own towards the spiral staircase. Yeah, in the middle. Didn't quite sink in, so palmed it off until I played it back later are very spooky.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, isn't it? You know, you hear it, it does make you jump. You know, it was that incident in the Lamb with Jen and all of them when we saw the man in the mirror. I mean, that was just a sheer room full of panic, women and men. I'll add to that, and men. It was just sheer panic because, you know, and the funniest thing I did laugh was because Jen said, "Oh, nothing ever happens when I go on an investigation. It must be me." And then, of course, all this night, it all went big time, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I said, you know, be careful what you wish for. And it was sheer panic in the room when that happened, wasn't it? That was very scary. Because I don't know whether you convince yourself, well, nothing's going to happen. Oh, no. You know, oh, well, just relax. And then suddenly this man appears in the mirror looking at you. And you're thinking, what? And it was just sheer panic. With women diving over tables falling on the floor, people huddling on the bed. And you look around, you think, you laugh after, you think, how funny was that? But at the time, it is sheer panic. You know, it was funny that night. You know, and I said to Jen, be careful what you wish for. Oh, nothing ever happens when I go on an investigation. It must be me. But it certainly showed her that night.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Definitely.
I don't know about, what have you had, Angela, in that type of thing? Alan Ray, thanks for that, Paul. I'm off to New Haven Fort Saturday night. Oh, Brill. New Haven Fort.
Where's that?
That down near you, Angela? New Haven.
I recognise it.
Yeah, New Haven, yeah. Where does that ring a bell? I don't know. It might be towards Brighton somewhere. Worthing that way, I don't know. But I've heard of New Haven. So that would be good, Alan. So enjoy that. Come on Monday night and tell us all about it. Tell us how you got on. Bring some of your evidence with you. So we can drop you on here and you can chat about it. You're not at the fault. I'm supposed to be off to Widley Saturday, weather permitting, because I've got to drop some bits off at your house.
Tell us what happened.
When?
Oh, okay.
I rung up today because the new bike I bought is 3 years old. So thinking, it's due an MOT, but I need to know when.
Yeah.
So I rung up the dealer I bought it from. I've only had it 4 months. So I rung them up and said, I need an MOT and I need to know when the MOT is due on the Honda. I said, okay, yeah, we'll look that up for you. So bearing in mind we're now March, okay? So he said, right. And I bought it in the September, sort of stroke November. Right. It was due in January.
Oh, no.
I said, what do you mean it was due in January? So you sold me a bike that's 2 months from an MOT that I've been riding 3 months with no MOT. Well, yeah, looks like that.
Oh, no.
So guess where I'm going Saturday lunchtime. Yeah. So I said, well, I need an MOT. He said, we only do MOTs between 12 and 2. He said, so
that's a
I
bit
said,
of a
well, I
narrow.
work all week. Yeah. So I said, I work all week. I said, can you do first thing in the morning? Oh, we don't do MOTs first thing in the morning. When I looked on their website, it says MOTs from 8:30.
Oh, what?
So business hours, so 8:30 till 5:30. So I booked it in for 12 o'clock Saturday for its MOT. And he said, you know that you have to pay for that. I said, let's have a discussion on not paying for it. Because if you'd have told me I'm buying a bike with 2 months left for the MOT, I'd have made you put a year's MOT on it for me to buy it. Not let me ride off. I said, you haven't contacted me. You haven't told me it's due an MOT. You have nothing at all.
No.
So Saturday, 12 o'clock, I've got to go there and get it MOT'd. So better pass, there'd be even more rows. So I said to him, expect an angry customer when I walk in at 12 o'clock. I said, make sure there's a manager around. Oh, well, I'll try and get a manager. No, you will get a manager there because we'll be having this discussion loudly in the showroom. I said, I could be very loud when I'm trying to make myself heard.
Yeah.
So I've got to go and deal with that. And I've got some bits from Jen to drop off to you, Angela, as well. So I just need your post. your postcode or wherever, and I'll pop in and drop them off for you on my way there. Weather permitting, obviously. I'm not riding in the rain. So I'll be doing that. So I think that's it. Is there anything else anybody wants to say, or
Just
next to Brian, East Sussex, Napoleonic Fault? Oh, nice. Well, come on next week, or come on and let us know how you got on. Show us your evidence and all of that. We'd be interested because we obviously do faults and Host for Ghosts, and we've got one coming up in April the 25th, which is associated with the English Heritage, which is Fort Brockhurst Allen in Gosport, not far from Angela. So if anybody wants to come along, buy the tickets, go onto our website, www.hostforghostparanormal.com, and click on the ticket source, and that'll take you directly to book your tickets. Come along. All the money goes to charity, goes to the English Heritage to keep it afloat, keep all the forts open. We're negotiating with them to do a few other places, so we're just waiting for the lady to come back to us. We've been in contact with her, so we're just waiting. There's another issue we need to sort out with her while we got her. She's so busy that it's difficult to get a response from her, and then suddenly you get a hail of a response and then nothing again. So we have to send it and send it and send it. Wait, send it and send it and send it. And then we get a hail of all the answers, and then she disappears again because she's obviously busy because she does all the south of England. So, the question you asked me earlier, we waiting for the answer. But as far as she knows, she doesn't know anything about it. So she said she will be looking into it. So we'll wait for the answer to that one. So, come along, join us. Myself, Angela, Dora, and Jen will be there, and a few guests. We sold about 11 tickets so far. So there's a few more to go. So please come along, join us. I'm trying to get time off of work for Brocker. Yeah, please do, Alan. Come along and come and meet us in person. It'd be great to have you there. It's a great place. We've done it once before, and it started to give us quite a bit of stuff. But then, obviously, we haven't been back for a bit because we went. I think we did it Halloween night, wasn't it? We did it. I think it was Halloween. Wasn't it? Yeah. So
no, it was Halloween.
Was it on a Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had the Halloween all day, hadn't they?
Yeah.
The fall. I think so. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we did it then, and it started off quiet, but it started to give us quite a lot of stuff as we went on, and I think and I know for sure there's more to come from there. And as they renovate the fault, we'll get bigger areas to investigate, more of the fault to investigate. Obviously, because of health and safety, we're in the keep and around the keep, but she has assured us as the renovations go on and they start. Hi, Daniel. As they start to open it, we will get more and more access to the ramparts on the top and all the rooms that are below. They'll open them up to us, but they're just in the middle of being done. So they, obviously health and safety, they won't want us tramping around in and out of their scaffolding in all the rooms if they got the floors up because of the safety side of it. So pop onto the website, buy your tickets, come and see myself, Angela, Jen and Dora on the night. So we split into a couple of groups. One goes one half of the fault, the other group goes to the other half, and see what we get. Meet in the middle, have a cup of tea and a nice biscuit, chat about the evidence, and off we go again. We do have equipment there you can use and borrow. There's quite an extensive amount of equipment, REM pods and cameras and blah, blah, blah. So you're welcome to borrow them as long as you put them back. We will search you going out, like an airport, security. So we will search you. Yeah, Angela will do the patting down. So if you've got anything you don't need to have in your pockets, Angela will find it.
If they're sweets, they're mine.
If they're sweets, they're Jen's, apparently. If they're a REM pod, it's mine. So, yeah, please buy your tickets. As I say, all the money goes to the English Heritage Charity. So it's a good cause. We're a non-profitable group. So we don't make anything out of this night. We do it to help the charity, help keep the fort alive, help keep history alive. And there's a couple of other bits coming up. We just need the final go-aheads. And do you need a passport? Depends what colour you are, Graham. Really. Joke. Yeah, but come along. Graham, why don't you come down? Travel down to the fort and meet us. Be good to have you there. Wander around with us. So, drop on the website, pick up your tickets, come and see us and have a good night with us. For Hosey Ghosts and that. It's a good fort. It's an impressive fort. So, and it's huge. Absolutely huge place. So, anyway, I'll stop the waffling. You're probably bored and fell asleep now, or watching a horror movie. So if you're watching a horror movie, enjoy. So it only remains me to say, on behalf of myself and Angela and Jen, get well soon, Lynn, if you're in hospital. Apparently, Luke was saying. So get well soon from us here. We'll see you soon. It only remains me to say thank you for tuning in tonight. A bit of a different night. So about movies and horror movies. So hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next week with a guest, hopefully. We'll get something sorted. So take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Bye.